Welcome to Level Up, the Videogame Podquiz, where we take a contemptuous sideways glance at the news and test our video game trivia. In the best video games edition, the players level up by earning XP, which is awarded by me for being interesting, knowledgeable and amusing. And while XP can't be lost, an incorrect answer will see the XP awarded to the other player. Joining me to play this week are Codemasters software engineer David Gower.
Hello.
And freelance tech journalist Mike Jennings.
Hello.
So, gentlemen, have you brought buzzers with you?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, Dave, do you want to give us a blast of yours? And it literally was a blast. Fantastic. And Mike.
Hold on.
Fantastic. Very appropriate.
Yeah, I'm nothing if not consistent. My Game friends fanboyism. Yeah.
Super duper. Right, so video games, love them to bits. So what have we been playing this week, Mike?
I'm jumping between a few things. On my PlayStation, I'm jumping between Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is just the best non-Assassin's Creed game I played. And what else? WWE 2K14 as well on my PlayStation because I'm a child. And then I'm playing Assetto Corsa on my PC because I bought a wheel and everything. Because a journal mate of mine called Craig Lager. You know Craig.
Yeah, Craig's been on the show before, yeah.
Yes, he's really into sim racing. He's incredibly good at it, and he's convinced me to buy a wheel. And I bought that thinking I'll be as good as Craig, and I'm really not. So I go on to Assetto Corsa for a bit and play terribly, and that it's fun. It's fun it's like the Dark Souls of racing games. It just kicks my head in every time. But yeah, that's what I'm playing.
Yeah, I've played F1 games with Craig, and yeah, he's lapping me by lap 5. So
yeah, he's quite good.
He is pretty awesome at the old racing games.
Yeah. I've been around to his house and watched him on his proper 150 quid wheel or whatever, and it's just ridiculous. It's just how to feel inadequate very quickly.
Proper job. Dave.
I've been playing Starcraft is what I'm working on at home. I've been playing Visual Studio and coding, and a bit of Dota and League in whatever time's remaining. I'm also in a valiant attempt to get into a slightly better shape. I'm playing DDR. I have a dance mat at home and no life, so I play some of that. It's rather warm everywhere though, so. You do a song and your body has withered into some kind of small puddle, and that ain't great. But yeah, strategy games. I'm going to DreamHack in September to compete at StarCraft. I'm going to be awful. I'm going to lose every single game I play because I'm like trash league. But it's always good to you go there. You always, if you want to go, as a slight aside, if you want to go and watch a tournament that's open, enter it because it's usually only marginally more expensive, and then you can go to the players' area and drink all their soda.
So. Top tip there. Fantastic. Okay, that's great. Right then, gents. Let's see if you've been paying attention to what's been going on in the crazy industry we call games. As ever, we have 6 imaginary boxes for you to select from, which will lead to a question rooted in a news story from the past 7 days. Mike, as you're new to this, your first appearance on the show, I'll let you go first. So pick a number from 1 to 6.
Pick a number. See, I feel pressure even picking a number. This is terrible. Let's go number 4.
Number 4.
Yes.
And one thing I will remind you is that the clue is in the question. So number 4. Why are old games good for Linux?
Because Good Old Games have just released 50 of them on Linux, is that right?
Very good, that is it, yes. What a fantastic start.
I can't tell you what games they are, but I read in the week that they've released loads of games.
Yeah.
Which is great because I love Good Old Games, both the thing and the company. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the DRM-free ideal is fantastic. Yeah. In a world where publishers are increasingly trying to lock things down and hide them away, Yeah, bless good old games. It's absolutely right.
It's quite refreshing to try things on, say, Uplay, and then go onto a game you've bought on Good Old Games. It's just, it's almost as good as getting a cardboard box out with a game in from back in the day.
Have they launched their portal yet? What's it called? Phoenix or something, isn't it called?
I have no idea. You've that's all my Good Old Games knowledge. It's just that headline.
Yeah. This is indeed the story. The digital distribution platform Good Old Games now supports Linux on its wealth of DRM-free games like Flat Out, Darwinia, Don't Starve, and SteamWorld Dig. Some, such as Sid Meier's Colonization, appearing on Linux for the very first time. With 50 games initially announced, God Games have over 100 by the end of November. Good for them. We like Good Old Games.
Oh, Super Hexagon's in there. That's a great game. Sorry.
How is that old?
Well, it's not. There's a lot of games on this list that aren't old, I'm noticing. But, I guess you stretch the definition of it and it's fine.
Well, that was
it's either good or old.
Well, when it first came out, the whole idea behind Good Old Games when it initially launched was it was old classics. It was Windows 95 and Windows 98 stuff that just didn't work on modern PCs, and that's what they did. So that's when it first started. That's what it was. All these good old games that we simply, even if we had them up on our shelves, we couldn't play anymore. And that's what they did, and they did them DRM free, and they were cheap, and obviously they've expanded since then. And they've done more modern stuff. And of course, because it's the company that owns them is CD Projekt Red, is it? Oh, I can't remember now. Who develops The Witcher?
Them.
Yeah, they're the parent company, so obviously The Witcher gets launched on there as well, and everything in their games go on there. So it's not just old games anymore, but obviously the name Good Old Games stuck because that's what they were.
They're not going to change the name then.
No. And some of the games aren't that old, and some of the games aren't good. Some of them are really bad new games, but they've got their name and they're sticking to it. You build up a brand, you don't throw it away just because you change your policies.
A good mix of age and quality.
Yes. Yeah. Okie dokie, Dave. Cracking start for Mike there. Dave, number 4's gone, so pick a number from 1 to 6.
I'll have 6, please.
Number 6. Flips the page. Who's jumping for joy to the tune of $95,000?
No idea. I can't even make a funny guess, I'm afraid. I have literally no idea. No, it's probably some crowdfunded project that is a platformer. And I would really love if it was like Jumping Jackrabbit, because that was, or Jazz Rabbit, or whatever it was called. Jumping Jack Flash. That was the game. Jumping Jack Flash on the Amiga. What a game that was.
I don't remember that one, to be honest.
Oh, you mean you're not really missing out, but back then it seemed brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you could pick up records and drink soda and burp. It was amazing. What a game.
That's quality. Mike, you got any idea on this one?
I'm trying, but I can't think. Obviously, it's something to do with jumping. No, unless it's some crowd-funded.
No.
Oh God! You know when you have the tiniest seed of a bit of knowledge in your head and you can't think. Is it some sort of crowd-funded simulator game?
It's not. It's nothing to do with crowdfunding or simulators or.
Okay.
No, the jumping is a reference to the company, and the $95,000 is what the gentleman was awarded. The answer is Marty O'Donnell, who was the composer who worked on the Halo series for Bungie. O'Donnell, who had worked for Bungie for 14 years, had his employment terminated in April, as he says, without cause. The $95,000 settlement appears to cover his claim for unpaid work, vacation time, damages, and legal fees. So there you go.
That's nowhere near as happy as a crowdfunded project.
It's not. It's not. Well, it is for him, because at least he's got a good payoff while he goes off. When I thought about, 'cause a lot of the stories I've seen on this has raved about the Halo music and said how great it was, and I found myself sitting there thinking, now I've played the Halo games, I can't remember the music.
The intro music is kind of iconic, but that's about it, really.
But, well, you say that, and yet when I heard it, I immediately thought, oh, of course, yeah. But actually trying to bring that music to mind, I really couldn't. And I, considering how iconic it's supposed to be, I would have thought, you could. Somebody says, oh, whistle the Halo tune. Okay. No. But yeah, the minute I heard it, it was all, oh, of course, yeah. And of course, it brought back a lot of emotions and a lot of memories of when I first played Halo, and it was all very positive. But yeah, when I read and Halo music, no, you got me. Hey ho, never mind. Okie dokie, Mike, back to you then. 4 and 6 have gone. Pick a number.
Okay. Oh God, the pressure has come back. This is ridiculous. Number 1. Let's go number 1.
Number 1.
Yes.
While development is fine, who thinks acting as a publisher might be twice as fine?
Oh, the bloke from Double Fine, isn't it? Surely. Oh God.
Double Fine is right, yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name. Is that going to lose me XP?
No.
I only know his name is Tim. Tim something or other. Tim Schafer. There you go.
Tim Schafer is right.
Schafer,
well
yes.
done, yes. And the story?
Yeah, you've got me.
Well, I mean, if what your clue is like is, I guess that Double Fine has decided to work as a publisher as well as a developer.
Yes, that's...
And publish something for someone else as a third party.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it would be though.
Yeah, it's kind of generic. Yes, this is Connect Party and Costume Quest producers Double Fine, and Tim Schafer announcing they intend to start publishing, though in typical Schafer fashion, his idea doesn't exactly fit the template, and his description sounding more like a consultation service. Obviously, I think the idea is he's going to take a little bit of a cut of the, or he's going to get some kind of payment for steering people in the right direction. Which I'm not sure is a good idea, given Double Fine's track record to date, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that will work out. I mean, it depends. If he's not actually directly publishing or working as somebody who gets a title to a distributor and funds a company, because that's what publishers usually do. Is so you go to them, you either work for them as a first party, or you go, like I tried to do with IDOS once, I've got this game idea, will you help me make it? And then they give you money and you make the game and they take money out of it.
Yeah, no, because one thing Schafer stated is, if it's a Kickstarter project, he's not going to take any of their Kickstarter money. You think, well, what are you going to do? Where are you going to get the money from that you're going to take for helping them out? And what exactly are you going to offer? Again, typical Schafer, I think. It's all... sounds like half ideas, but he airs them in public instead of sitting at home and developing them first.
I mean, the whole thing about consulting on these ideas is just so vague. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean he has like a big long meeting with the developer every week to help plan and help them progress, or does it mean one email a month?
Yeah.
I mean, you've no idea, do you?
No.
And usually when you go to a publisher, you don't really want their ideas, you want their money. You say, please, can you fund game for me, please? That's basically what Kickstarter replaced. You Kickstarter replaced publishers who would then take a cut of the game when it was released. Kickstarter didn't, when you fund a project on Kickstarter, you don't say, right, I'm funding you $100 for 0.0003% of your royalties. You're basically saying, have some money, which is great because it's much better than a publisher, because a publisher then either owns your IP or takes a cut from the game. So it's... Yeah.
Another reason not to kickstart anything. I'm a cynic. Okay. No, but yeah, absolutely spot on answers there, chaps. Yes, it's Double Fine and Tim Schafer looking to do some kind of publishing without publishing. So, Dave, we have
3,
2, 3, and 5 left, and you want number 3. Why might the police no longer be courting pirates?
Well, there was for games. I knew there was a thing that they decided that they were like ISPs were going to start sending you letters when you were streaming stuff illegally, and say, "Don't do this," and then cut you off. But they were stopping taking people who had pirated games to court or pirated streams, movies, whatever, TV, music, whatever, the court cases were going to go away because they're basically more expensive than they're worth. Because yes, okay, the RIAA come along and say, well, you owe us £83,000 for everything you've ever, like each track, because that's how much we've lost. Because if you'd bought it and paid £9 for it, we'd have taken it back in time to when that £9 was actually worth 83 grand, and then brought it back, and then we'd have had 83 grand because that's what we do. But they go to court and the settlement go, yes, money, and then the people will just have no money. So it was just a waste of time and money for everyone else as well. So I think they've just stopped the idea of taking pirates to court and instead just threatened to cut off their internet connection instead, which I think people actually take much more seriously, because who wants their internet connection cut off? I would explode if they took my internet connection away. Please don't take my internet connection away. People, I promise I don't watch anything illegally, honest.
I didn't think this new scheme was even threatening people with taking their internet away, was it?
Really not? Oh, it could be the case that it's given up entirely.
I thought it was that piracy, the whole thing had been decriminalised, and that the new scheme is to send people 4 quite polite, stern letters.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they sent the 4th letter, that was it. They weren't going to do anything anymore.
Well, what's the point of even sending the letters? Just a waste
Well,
of
I don't know. It's the toothlessness of the fight against piracy summed up in one news story, I think. Here's a plan that didn't work. We're going to make it even worse.
They're downloading stuff off the internet. Kill the trees! That's what they're doing. Right?
Let's spend some money on stamps. Yeah. And some paper and some ink. Yeah.
You're both kind of they've taken away the threat of removing people's internet connection because the internet connection now is too integral in people's lives. But equally, the Crown Prosecution Service and the police, it isn't worth their money and resources in chasing people. So it hasn't been decriminalised, and it isn't legal to download this stuff. But the emphasis is being put on now the copyright holder. And basically what the police and the Crown Prosecution Service are going to say is, we'll help you, but we're not going to dedicate our resources to this. If you want to sue somebody for downloading your copyrighted material, that's a civil matter, and it's for you to sue them accordingly. And that's the way it's going to go wrong. The program is called the Voluntary Copyright Alert Program, and it's a system by which ISPs will write to their customers suspected of downloading copyright material and advise on ways to obtain that stuff legally. The Act allows for 4 letters to be sent, after which the ISPs will shake their head and declare, there's just no talking to them. Copyright holders are still likely to pursue pirates, though, so it doesn't represent a shift that means it's open season on the likes of Game of Thrones or Titanfall downloads. But the police action and prosecution for little Timmy downloading a few Beyonce MP3s increasingly unlikely for numerous reasons, not least because of the flaws in trying to actively tie an IP address to a person. So this is, in essence, a much more reasoned response, and one that reflects a change in the way we consume digital entertainment.
Yeah, it's interesting because the whole tying an IP to a person thing is very UK specific. You go to other countries, a lot of other countries basically just give you a static IP address when you sign up, and that's then everything. That is you. Then that is your IP. Or they give you 5, I think. Like Sweden gives you 5 IP addresses, and then rather than having a router, you have a switch, and then that dishes out the IP addresses, and there's none of this firewall governs. I think that the whole dynamic address kind of is more like a UK-US thing for DSL connections. So it's you can thank our crappy infrastructure for your anonymity, effectively.
Awesome. Well, how does that work for me? Because again, I'm on cable.
It's the same thing.
Like the same way.
Yeah, the whole way it's set up over here is the way the exchanges work and all that kind of stuff. We just don't have enough IP. We don't have that many IP addresses. So we please, if you have more than one PC, you need to hide it behind a router, unless you sign up for a business account, which will then give you 5 static IP addresses.
Nice. Well, again, with the way modern houses are, people have multiple devices in the house anyway. So even if you got the static IP into the address, you could have any number of devices behind that, and it could be any one of them, couldn't it? I suppose. Or am I talking nonsense?
Yeah, it could be anything to do with that. I mean, yeah, your phone connects to the internet via, unless if you don't have it on your Wi-Fi, your phone connects to the internet via 2G, 3G, 4G, whatever, and has its own crazy IP address, and then everything else counts as the same IP. So unless you've got a business account, everything that comes out of your router has one IP address. The router's external IP address. So if you've got 6 devices, they'll all connect to the IP address as the same thing. They'll all have different MAC addresses or whatever sometimes. if you've got a very clever router, sometimes or you've set up some crazy port forwarding, sometimes it knows a bit more than that. But generally, yeah, you connect to the internet, and it's your router doing it. So they'll send letters to your router. Please, BT Home Hub, stop downloading. Stop downloading, please. Stop with the Sherlock. What would Benedict Cumberbatch think? Yeah, it's gonna think it's. Yeah. You'll have letters addressed to your router.
Brilliant. Okay, great. That's educational. Loving it.
Yeah. Learned a lot already.
Yeah. Okay, back to you, Mike. We have numbers 2 and 5 remaining.
Right. 2. Let's go 2.
Number 2. Nice, easy one, this. How does a gaming newbie pocket $5 million?
You said nice, easy one.
Easy one.
A gaming newbie.
How does a gaming newbie pocket $5 million?
Oh, God. It's a good question. Obviously, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Dave's probably sitting there rubbing his hands. Again, this was
a little bit.
This was all over the. I think for 2 days solid, this was all over the gaming news sites.
God, I'm gonna kick myself.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna hand it over to Dave and take it away.
Yeah, so this was TI4, the international, the annual.
Oh God, of
course. Dota 2 tournament. Team Newbie won. Unfortunately, the finals were actually quite one-sided. Like there were 4 games, each of which was really one-sided. Newbie won 3-1, and the prize fund for them was $5 million. The whole tournament was just over 10 million. 1.6 of which was provided by Valve. I think it was 1.6 or 2.4, and the rest of it was provided by everyone else. So you could buy a compendium in your Dota client, and some of that money would go towards the game, towards the prize fund for the tournament. And I mean, to be fair, I bought one, and the content that the compendium provided you with little challenges and things that helped arbitrary process bars go up the screen, because Dota, the only process, the stuff you get from your progress in Dota is cosmetic. You start the game up, it's not League. You start the game up and you've got the whole stuff. But it was still good fun, the whole extra stuff. You were provided with, you could predict the outcome of the tournament, and if you got it right, you got extra levels on your compendium, and then once your compendium expires at the end of this week, you'll get a little badge with how good your compendium was, and that will be with you on that account forever. So they provided you with some good stuff for it. And Newbie won. The semi-finals were much better than the finals. The games were very good. The whole tournament was very well done. And Newbie Chinese Dota's come back after last year's shock Swedish domination.
I'm still just annoyed I didn't get the answer. I know people who spent the whole weekend and booked days off work to watch it on Monday and whatever, and I read about it, and then mind blank.
No, the whole MOBA thing has passed me by, and I didn't watch any of this because I actually haven't got any major interest in Dozer at all, really, other than the fact that I'm interested in the fact that it's something that's happening, and I love seeing the passion people have for it. But it's kind of passed me by.
Video gaming as a competitive sport, I think, is coming along quite nicely. Obviously, the Eastern scene is much better for it because they just seem to know how to get themselves set up for it. This is one of the times where I will talk for hours. So I'll try and speak quickly. So I mean, this was on ESPN.
I believe so.
ESPN 3 showed the tournament. ESPN 2 showed the pre-show, which was very good. Swedish television's been doing it for ages though, because they have DreamHack's done is a Swedish thing, and SVT2 shows a DreamHack, and they basically just link to the Twitch stream, or for the most part. Sometimes they'll have a Swedish commentary, but they'll do it, and they're really big on it. They have it's generally people with the better internet connections are generally better at video games, funnily enough. Sweden with you just buy a gigabit line if you want to, and Korea with the same thing. But the fact that this is now becoming a thing that is becoming something that anyone can watch and understand. The invitational streams were really, really, really good. You had a stream that was basically just standard sports commentary, but they hosted a stream which sadly wasn't the one on ESPN. I really wish it was the one that they'd put on ESPN, but they had a newbie stream where they not about the
I
team.
was going to say, is that
So-
newbie as in newcomer?
Yeah,
not as in the team?
or they call it the Noob Stream. So it was a stream where if you didn't know anything about the game, you'd watch it, and they would explain what the game, what it meant when anything happened. So like they've got 650 gold each. They're buying these items. These do these things. This killed a creep. You can see this number here is how much gold they've increased by. You can see their gold's increasing passively. They bought this item. It does this, and this. They'd break down everything that was happening all the time, rather than just a play-by-play of what's going on. They explained what it meant every time. And they were very, very good. So that was something that hasn't been done really when you watch the game stream. But the fact that it's becoming something that people are understanding more is bringing it more to be like a competitive sport. I don't know whether one of your questions on a previous podcast was about the Americans now having, only for League of Legends, but if you can have a competitive athlete visa, the standard sports athlete visa now can be applied for by League of Legends professionals to go to American League of Legends tournaments.
Right.
So you don't have to come on a tourist visa or anything like that. You can now come in as a professional sports athlete, which allows you to stay for longer.
That's fantastic.
I love the idea of the newbie commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Newbie Commentary was really, really good.
That was brilliant. What's the commentary like? The regular commentary, is that kind of, because I remember
It's
when on
generally just
Sky
play by
there was a gaming TV channel on Sky, and they had FIFA tournaments and COD tournaments and stuff, and it was just people being angry and shouting.
No,
So-
the people make a reasonable living out of being esports casters,
Okay.
and so they are actually quite good at it now. A lot of these are people who are either ex-pros or just generally very good at the game, talking about the game. Sometimes they'll criticize other people's decisions because they have their own thoughts on it, but it's generally just play-by-play. So they'll shout a lot because they're excited about what they're seeing. But they're not usually saying these guys are idiots or anything like that. There's just standard, as you would expect from a sportscast, of play-by-play commentary, and then they go to analysis desk afterwards where they show replays of bits that happened and talk about why it happened and what that meant and how it, whether there was a switch in play by whatever. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I mean the shouting's fine as long as it's kind of sports commentary shouting, when it's people talking what they know about, rather than other commentary on games I've seen where it's just people shouting "bro" over and over and over again.
There's not. It's quite these people are just passionate about the game. Like there's an Australian caster called Toby Wan, and he screams when stuff happens. It's incredible. But he's really into what's happening, and a lot of them are. And so the StarCraft ones, when you watch a StarCraft one, it's generally slightly more analytical, and the play-by-play stuff. The Dota stuff is sometimes very tongue-in-cheek as well. They'll be passionate about it, but they'll also make a lot of jokes. The streams are quite funny. So I definitely recommend checking one out when one's on next. I don't know what the next Dota 2 tournament is, but possibly there's a lot of stuff that's always going on. I think ESL's got one coming up soon. And a lot of the tournaments, especially the Dota tournaments, are semi-crowdfunded. There's a lot of, hey, we're hosting a tournament. Valve, can we make a compendium for it and do some stuff? And they'll do it, and you can buy a compendium for that game, and that allows you to watch the games if you wanted to, rather than on a Twitch stream. The Dota tournaments can be watched in the Dota client if you have a compendium. So that allows you then to watch the game how you want to watch it. So you can pick from the list of casters, you can pick from a list of observers, or observe it by yourself if you want to do with just a commentary in the background.
Yeah.
So that allows your own, having your own viewing experience for a competitive tournament like that is something you can't do elsewhere. I mean, you can't watch football and pick which camera you want to watch it from.
It's like red button plus, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, cool. I'll have to check that out. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you've actually tweaked me interest there, Dave. Well done.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, just the idea of there being a noob commentary, something that wouldn't be sitting there like watching football with somebody for the first time when you're teaching your kids football. What's offside? Oh god, here we go again. Yeah, something that could do that for me. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this is something that continues, because I'd never thought of it. I thought, oh, there's a Noob Stream. That's actually really cool, and it was. They were very good at it, because the people who were casting it weren't that great at the game themselves. So these are people who basically their understanding was limited almost to being a noob. Some of them were also professional casters helping out with the stream. They'd cycle around, but the Noob Stream was generally really done by people who were this is this is where I'm comfortable talking about Dota. Sorry, this is where we're comfortable with. So they were very, very into casting a noob stream, and they understood what it was to be a noob.
Brilliant. Yeah, this was the going back about 10 minutes. This was the story that the International 32 Championship was won by a team from China called Newbie, who beat countrymates Vichy, I presume it's pronounced, in the final to take the top prize of $5 million. Fantastic amounts of money. Give up your tennis, guys. Go play Dota.
Yep.
Right, Dave. That leaves you with question 5, which is.
Oh yes, it does, doesn't it? Yes.
Yes. Who's put their shields up?
What a question. I really wish I knew the answer to that question.
I'm assuming Mike's gonna know this one. I'll be honest, because
I've got an idea.
You got these two questions the long way around, didn't you?
Avast made something called Shields up once. That was it. So, is it a virus thing?
It's not. No.
No. Then I am clueless.
Okie dokie. In that case, Mike, I'll hand it over to you. I'm going to presume you know this.
Is that Nvidia?
It is Nvidia.
With Shield tablets.
Yep.
Shield tablet?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, cool.
Go on. Talk
cool.
more. Talk more.
Yeah. Nvidia releasing a virtually pointless tablet device. But yeah. I mean,
I'll be honest, Mike. I was expecting a bit more from the tech guy.
Sorry, my brain just went. Yeah, they released a nice new tablet with new Tegra K1 graphics, and it's not on iPad, so it's not going to do very well.
Is it designed for gaming, or is it just like designed as an iPad to just be some kind of all-encompassing?
It's kind of all-encompassing. I mean, Nvidia have already got the Nvidia the original Shield device, which is kind of the console controller with an Android device in it, which is really designed for gaming. But this is just it's a nice tablet. It's got a really high resolution screen. It's got a new Tegra K1 chipset in it, which is it's quad core and all sorts of fun stuff. And it's 229 quid, which is a real nice price. But yeah, I don't know if it's enough to break out from the general kind of consciousness of these things. The general kind of consciousness of buy an iPad. I think if people don't want to buy an iPad, they buy a Nexus. I don't think many people are going to go towards an Nvidia tablet.
Well, I think this is aimed more at PC owners, purely for the streaming. But again, it's a very limited subset of PC owners.
Yeah. I mean, what's the streaming? I'm not too familiar with the streaming angle.
Well, I'll give you the full answer then. This is Nvidia who launched their Shield tablet and game controller. The 8-inch Android tablet has a HD IPS display and is powered by Nvidia's Tegra K1 chip and 2 GB of RAM, which should wipe the floor with pretty much any other Android tablet that's around at the minute. It's the gamepad that makes the Shield an intriguing prospect, with the device supporting game stream for PC owners with an Nvidia GTX 6 series card, and it has a HDMI output, giving PC owners the prospect of taking their PC games into the living room and onto the TV. It'll be available at retail from the 14th of August, and you can expect a full bundle of the 16 gig version to set you back around 300 quid. That's with the pad and stand and everything if you get it as a bundle.
But you could just buy a super cheap laptop and connect that to your screen. And if the only thing you're interested in streaming is Steam games, Steam allows you to do that himself. Like Steam recently added that kind of features where you can stream from your workhorse PC onto your TV via Steam's over the network. Yeah,
but then you only stream into the TV. The idea of this is you could have your PC on downstairs and you could take the tablet to bed with you and carry on playing.
Okay.
You can play it, or you can plug the tablet into the telly and play it on the telly, and then you've got to give up the telly because somebody wants to watch Coronation Street. So you unplug the HDMI lead and carry on playing on it as the tablet.
It's intriguing, but every single aspect of it seems to just kind of divide a niche into a niche into a niche.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like to begin with, and you've got to have your Nvidia, card, PC or laptop, 600 series at least card, and that's another niche. And then you're appealing to streamers, which is another niche, albeit a growing one. And then you've got the optional pad, which will work great with some games, but then a lot of other games increasingly are designed for touch rather than pad. So I don't know. It just seems to be dividing niches into niches.
Yeah, it's like they looked at a Wii and went, "Yeah, we could probably do that with a tablet."
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks like a great piece of tech, and it was one of them.
Yeah.
If you're the type of person that's got money to burn, why wouldn't you get one? But for anybody else, it's hard to justify the cost because it does a little bit of what everything else you do does. But again, jack of all trades, master of none. You think, well, no, if I want a tablet, I'd rather have, like you say, I'd rather have a Nexus or an iPad, and I'd rather have my PC or maybe a console under the telly, and have these different things that are really good at what they do in their own right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great bit of tech. It's just I just can't see it catching on with more than 3 or 4 people. But as Nvidia like doing that. They like making nice bits of technology that don't really go anywhere. But it's their money, isn't it? And they've got to do something. They're not making any chips for consoles. So
well, isn't the Tegra K1 chip going to be in the new Nexus though as well? Didn't I read that somewhere?
Potentially. I've not read about that. Shamefully.
Maybe I imagined it. I just got in my head to pick that up somewhere that the new Nexus 8 is going to have a Tegra in it.
Oh, Nexus 9 apparently.
Oh, Nexus 9.
Or Nexus 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what these rumor sites are like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Few other news snippets from this week. Sony have followed Microsoft's Xbox One announcements in confirming that the next firmware patch for the PS4 will also add 3D Blu-ray support to the console, because anything that helps you justify the extra cost of that 3D TV you bought is more important than DLNA backwards compatibility or MP3s. Google has reportedly committed to the $1 billion purchase of streaming video service Twitch. $1 billion. That's a lot of zeros. Like my streaming history viewing figures. The cinematic debut of Uncharted will receive a 10th of July 2016 release. The movie, which hasn't started filming, have a lead actor, or been written yet, will no doubt be as good as any other game to movie adaptation, such as the Tomb Raider movies, which Angelina Jolie somehow managed to maintain a career after. And West Games' Ariel, claimed spiritual successor to the Stalker games, has been dropped from Kickstarter. The project has had a mixed reception, with many outlets questioning its validity following unusual behaviour on the message thread, its seemingly restrained $50,000 target, and its backers' activity. West Games reinforced their credentials by stating the Ukrainian developers had received a letter of support from Russian President Vladimir Putin. So, as I don't want to need a Geiger counter on hand every time I have a hot drink, I'll say no more.
Nice.
Okie dokie, so that's the news. That was the news, that is the news, that was the news, and that's that. And now it's time to give those fingers a workout with the buzzer round. Are we ready? Are we excited?
Yes, my buzzer is ready.
I'm excited and ready, and yeah, bring it on. Let's do this.
Right, here we go. Earlier, we mentioned Bungie, who have been receiving all manner of praise for the beta of their latest game, which is currently available on PlayStation and Xbox platforms. But what is the game? Guys.
I don't play console games. PC Gaming Master Race. I have no idea.
Hold on.
Go on, Mike.
God, Destiny.
It is Destiny.
Yes. Cool.
You don't have to be a console gamer, Dave.
No,
Destiny is everywhere. How have you missed Destiny?
Didn't the beta for that open up today?
Yeah, it's gone from needing a code to being open to everybody. I'm currently downloading it on both the 360 and the PS3 at the minute, so I can do a nice comparison.
Oh, cool. You?
As well, or last gen, whatever gen you want to call it.
Yeah, I haven't got the next gen. I've still got a huge, massive gaming backlog, so it's not worth me getting the new consoles yet.
No, I'm the same. I'm only going to get the new PS4 when Assassin's Creed or Uncharted comes out. But then again, I've still got about 100 games to play on Steam anyway. So.
Well, the PS4 for me is it was Drive Club, but
yeah, I was that, but now it's pushed back, isn't it?
Well, a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, I got Drive Club mixed up with The Crew, And since then I've been looking at the crew, and oh my.
I saw a video. Yeah, it's like just driving across America.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you and your mates drive across America, ramming each other off the road and having good times.
Yeah, and it only takes 40 minutes to do it as well, which is really realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, artistic license and all that. Hey, I love Euro Truck Sim too, and there's no tunnels on the M6. I can tell you that for nothing.
I've been enjoying it. Honestly, I got the demo months ago. I wasn't that first, and I bought this wheel for Assetto Corsa, and I never thought I'd use the wheel to drive trucks, and here we are. You know, London to Folkestone, not a problem.
Yeah, kids race around tracks, real men reverse 44 tons through a shipping crate yard. Yeah.
Real men get German driving tickets.
Yes. Right, yes. Okay, the game and box art for Destiny feature a white orb floating above the last city on Earth. But what is the orb known as?
Hold on.
Mike?
Is it Destinyville?
It's not Destiny.
Okay, I thought someone better have a guess. Okay, now.
Dave, do you want to have a guess? Your indifference to console
The
games.
Orb. It was called The Orb.
It's not called The Orb.
I didn't know the game was called Destiny. I'm going to be slightly lost here. Sorry.
No worries.
Should have Googled it really.
It is known as the Traveller, the appearance of which centuries earlier enabled humankind to reach out and infest other worlds. Okie dokie. At Sony's E3 conference, it was revealed that Double Fine were remastering a classic adventure Tim Schafer had worked on as project lead at LucasArts. But what is it?
Oh, shit. Can I swear? I just swore. I don't know. I want to... Oh.
Hold on.
Go on, Mike.
Is it a Monkey Island game?
It's not a Monkey Island.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's not one of the Monkey Island games.
Okay. Damn it.
Fine, hang on.
Go on, Dave.
Is it Day of the Tentacle?
It's not Day of the Tentacle either, no.
Boo.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, guys. Genuinely
I
shocked.
really like adventure games as well. I'm awful.
This is Grim Fandango, which is being remastered for release on PS4, Vita, PC, and Mac. Hopefully later this year.
It shows our age that we went for Day of the Tentacle and Monkey Island.
Speak for yourself.
Quality classic games, though, guys. Right, next up, we have a listener question. Listener questions are extra special, just like our listeners are, and so they're worth double experience. This week's question was again sent in by the person who sent in last week's question, which is Level Up's #1 superfan, Stuart Luff. Now, he says, on last week's quiz, I had a commentary rant about corruption and paying for positive exposure. In that, I named a game cited as the cause for an editor at GameSpot losing his job after a lower than desired 6 out of 10 review score brought pressure from the game's publisher who had extensive advertising on the site. But what was that game?
Oh, God.
Now, bearing in mind that your silence suggests that neither of you listened to last week's show, you can just imagine how hurt I am right now.
No, I did, and I've forgotten. Apparently, I can't handle pressure well. Wow, who knew?
God. Oh.
Well, if you didn't hear the rants, it was a big story at the time. That this.
I can remember all the fuss
this
and the fury around it, and I can't remember the name of the game. Oh, God. Oh, God, I know. God, it's... Wait, where's your buzzer?
Press your buzzer, man.
Go on, Mike.
Hold on.
Okay. Kane and Lynch.
It was Kane and Lynch Deadman. Absolutely right.
Came off so badly. Because
I quite like that game.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it to the point where I reviewed it at my old job and I slagged it off, and I could not believe anyone gave it a good review.
Not many people did. I mean, it got middling to fair reviews.
The editor of the official Xbox magazine, because I couldn't believe they gave it a good review. But you know, that's fine. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was Kane and Lynch Deadman. Editor of GameSpot at the time, Jeff Gersman, has since confirmed it was indeed that low score that led to his dismissal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Corruption.
Absolutely. And the sad thing is, I mean, that is such a rarity, but it's that an incident like that is what gives the blinkered commenter all their ammunition when they start raving against proper
It's so
journalists.
frustrating because I was listening to last week's show and you were talking about YouTubers and you know and the disparity between the situation in journalism and in YouTubing, where you know if you're a YouTuber and you haven't taken some bribes, you're basically not a proper YouTuber. But you know that's all brushed under the carpet. That's fine. But the whole situation is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you know, yeah.
Wholeheartedly agree. Right. So next up, I should just say thank you to Stuart again for sending that in. And if anyone else, or Stuart again, feel free to carry on. Anyone else listening has a bit of game trivia that they want to test our panelists with, then please email them to leveluppodquiz@gmail.com. Give us a test. Right, yes, next question. Despite the middling reviews, Kane and Lynch earned a sequel. What was it subtitled?
Oh.
Dave.
Is it Dog Days?
It was Dog Days. Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days. It was indeed.
Good. I had an old magazine. I had an old PC Zone. I was reading it, and it was in there. Thank you, PC Zone. Thank you, base PC Zone.
Rest in peace. Exactly.
It may be gone, but it'll always be with us. Lost my place. Where was I? Ah, yeah, here we go. Next question. The game was developed by IO Interactive, who are best known for the Hitman series. Who is the Hitman?
Hodor.
Mike?
It's not Hodor. Is it Agent 42?
Oh, so close, but no.
No? God.
47.
It is Agent 47, Dave. Well done.
Oh, for God's sake. I've not been sure of an answer yet, and I thought, I know that one. I'll go straight in there with the Hodor.
Oh, getting Agent 47's wrong, Mike. Craig will never speak to you again.
That's amateur hour, isn't it?
Testing memory for you. In what year was the original Hitman Codename 47 released?
Hodor.
Go on, Mike.
2001?
Oh, so close. So close. You can almost
Now, the
taste
question
it.
of the day is, do I go lower or higher?
Go for it.
I think I go lower. I think it's 2000.
It is 2000. It was a wise choice, Dave. Well done. As with Kane and Lynch, the Hitman series were originally published by Eidos, who continued to publish until 2009, when they were taken over by which Japanese publisher?
God.
How many Japanese publishers are there? Can't be that many.
Well, think about the games Eidos have published and who's publishing them now. It's kind of your clue.
But they published like Lara Croft. They published Tomb Raider.
Hodor.
Go on, Mike.
Squinix?
It is Square Enix.
Square Enix?
It is Square Enix. Sympathise with you, Dave, for that. But it is Square Enix. SCI acquired Eidos in 2005, but the Eidos brand continued. Following the Square Enix purchase in 2009, the Eidos name only remains in relation to the relevant development studio, not as a publisher.
Do SCI still exist?
SCI ceased to exist as a company in around. Hang on, they took over Eidos in 2005. In 2008, they looked for reinvestment. They dropped the SCI name and became wholly known as Eidos. And then in 2009, Square Enix bought Eidos. And although they initially said nothing would change, Eidos ceased to be a publisher. And the Eidos name only exists in relation to like Eidos Montreal as the development studio. But Eidos stopped being a publisher with the Square
Pepperoni's
Enix.
SCI.
Yeah. Sorry?
What a company that was. Poor SCI. Man, Carmageddon, what a game.
Yeah, well, again, SCI still existed because it was SCI that took over Eidos, but in 2008, it was SCI's decision to get rid of the SCI name and just keep the Eidos name, even though SCI were the bosses.
It's a stupid name, to be fair, SCI, but I mean, yeah. Sales Curve Interactive. What a name.
Catchy.
Yeah.
Well, it actually is one. It's not down as a question, but I'll throw it at you anyway in case you know. Eidos, because I've seen us talking about company names. IDOS weren't originally a software publisher; they were a technology company. But the IDOS became a publisher after a group of companies merged, only one of which was a software publisher, and that was the company that had originally published a game by the guy who would go on to be head of IDOS. I shouldn't have asked this question because it could ruin later questions I've got coming up. Anyway, can anyone remember what that name of that software publisher was? The publisher that became IDOS?
No.
I think the short answer is no.
No. It was a terribly formed question because I'm doing it off the top of my head. It was Dumark. I don't expect you to remember it though. So yeah, Dumark were a software publisher, and they got in with a load of other companies. One of whom was a tech firm. The tech firm was called IDOS Technologies, I think. And as part of the merger, the company of all these separate companies became IDOS Interactive. I think a couple of years later, one of the companies left and became a software publisher in their own right. I think they were Japanese, then possibly. Anyway, it's not relevant, so forget me. I forget I said anything. Who is the fighting fantasy book author who was CEO of IDOS?
Hold on.
Dave got in first.
That was the guy I pitched my game to. That's Ian
The
Livingston.
one and only Ian Livingston. That's right. And going back to Dumark, there we go. This is why, as soon as I started talking about it, I thought I shouldn't have brought this up now. Livingston also made a text adventure for the Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum. Can you name it?
I don't think I was alive.
It was 1984.
No, I don't know.
No, I can't remember it.
Nope.
I knew what it was. We talked about it when I was there, and I've forgotten it. Horrible.
It was Eureka.
Yes, it was.
Eureka, a text adventure published by Dumark in 1984, who offered a prize of £25,000 to the first player to complete the game if they did so before December the 31st, 1985. The prize was won by a UK teen named Matthew Woodley. Whatever happened to Matthew Woodley?
I don't know. Probably look him up. Give him a call. What did you spend your money on, Matthew?
Hey, in 85, 25 grand was...
That was a lot of money, yeah.
That was a house and a car and a good few nights out on the town. But that, gentlemen, brings us to the end of our quiz. And we discover that what has been a educational quiz tonight, gents. There's a lot of good information bandied around. I've learned stuff, which is always a good thing.
I know, it's been good. We've either known the answer or have been completely clueless.
Yeah, there's been no middle ground. It's just, yeah. I've learned a lot. It's been good. Every day is a school day, especially with podcast quizzes.
Yes, indeed. So, Mike, our debutant, you've managed the dizzy heights of level 6.
Well, hey.
Which
Cool.
any week so far would have been enough to have you on the victory roster. But Dave, just about squeaking himself into level 7, takes the glory.
Oh.
Yes, all that Dota knowledge is finally coming useful.
Cool. So, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
No
Ben.
And thank you, anybody out there in internet land who's taken the time to listen to us. Hopefully catch you again next week. Bye.
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 Level Up was hosted by me, Kev Furlong, and was a fairly whirly production.
Yes, I'm going to be team surrounded.